Well, in the span of 24 hours, India saw two honourable members of parliament, one from the BJP and the other from the BSP, arrested in murder cases. The arrests only prove how difficult it will be to clean up India's political system, despite that entire debate we've had all year on ending the reign of criminal MPs. And if the list of candidates for the assembly polls is anything to go by so far, then things may not change very soon.
Lawmakers on the wrong side of the law. BJP's Junagadh MP Dinu Bhoga Solanki was arrested on Tuesday for the murder of RTI activist Amit Jethwa. And BSP MP Dhananjay Singh was arrested in connection with the death of a domestic help in his house. Both cases reopened the debate on criminals in politics, but their respective parties are downplaying the arrests.
Law will take its own course.
जो भी दोषी हैं उनको सजा मिलनी चाहिए.
The arrests come days after the Association for Democratic Reforms revealed that of the 143 candidates contesting 18 assembly constituencies in the Chhattisgarh elections, 15 are facing criminal charges and 6 of the 15 face serious charges. All parties seem equally guilty. The BJP has fielded 3 such candidates, the Congress has fielded 2, the BSP 2 and the Samajwadi Party 1.
There are certain NGOs who are doing research, but their research lacks credibility many times.
I am not going to take any action unless the law and order agency take first steps.
Ironically, just last month, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi struck down an ordinance moved by the Congress-led government that would have shielded convicted lawmakers. The Supreme Court had in July ruled that convicted lawmakers should be disqualified. So why have parties, especially the Congress, yet again fielded candidates facing criminal charges?
The winnability factor is something which they are keeping in their mind. They feel that these are the candidates who can get them that particular constituency.
The long line of ticket seekers at party offices is only growing. In fact, till now, if citizens were unhappy with the choices that they had, there was very little that they could do. But now finally, with the Supreme Court and the Election Commission paving the way with the Nota option or none of the above button, they finally have a choice. Reform campaigners said this will not only help increase the polling percentage but also force parties to finally field candidates who are cleaner. In New Delhi, Siddharth Pandey for NDTV.
Well, is that really going to happen? Will parties be forced to field cleaner candidates, or are we going to see more of the same, especially in the upcoming elections, both for the state assemblies as well as the general elections? Joining us on the program tonight from the BJP, we have its senior leader from Gujarat, Mr. Jainarayan Vyas. Also with us, Randeep Surjewala, spokesperson of the Congress party and minister in the Haryana government. We have Harish Bijur joining us tonight from Bangalore, and we have Anurag Mittal from the Association of Democratic Reforms that has been putting together this data on MPs and their backgrounds. And he's here in the studio with us. Let me first ask Mr. Vyas though. Mr. Vyas, you have an MP, a member of parliament from the BJP who's been arrested in a murder case of an RTI activist yesterday. And the BJP has been very silent on this very important issue in the last 24 hours.
Well, I don't think we are silent. We have made it amply clear that let the law take its own course. And I would further add to it. We had also expressed our apprehensions about the behavior of the CBI, which appears to be more working like a Congress Bureau of Investigation rather than the Central Bureau of Investigation. Coming as close to the general elections as it is, you know, it is not the needle of suspicion also is pointed towards them that why at this hour, this kind of all of a sudden kind of actions, and why some kind of an action which will create an adverse impression or intimidate the honorable MP who is coming from that area. I mean, we are at a loss to understand why CBI all of a sudden has become so active.
But this is a case that's been investigated for a while. There is a relative, relative of the MP that has also been involved. I mean, are you suggesting that this arrest is a political conspiracy then? Because that's what everybody says when there's a criminal charge or a serious accusation like this leveled against them across party lines. It's not unique to you.
Well, I would say only, Didi, that, you know, nobody in the right sense of mind would support anybody with a criminal background. And I think now, with the Supreme Court's intervention and fortunately that ordinance being struck down, I think the way is paved for cleansing up of the entire domain. But this is going to be a process, and the process will take its own time. Till such time, I think the dictum prevails is that unless somebody is pronounced guilty, he is innocent. So, I mean, the word used is convicted, and if somebody is not convicted, I think that's all. As far as the law is concerned, he is not a person who is pronounced guilty.
He's not, but it's a serious charge and
That's
it's a
what we
murder
don't
charge.
understand.
And yet Randeep Surjewala, we'll find these accusations going back and forth. Now the BJP says that this is a political conspiracy to frame a member of parliament. The problem also here is, Randeep Surjewala, is that there's very little political faith left in the CBI today. The agency too has such little credibility that even if legitimate arrests are made, whichever party it may be, the opposition will always cry foul.
Maybe in fact I find Mr. Jayanarayan Vyas' defense of Mr. Digu Solanki, the BJP MP from Gujarat, shocking. He forgets that Mr. Amit Jethwa was not a congressman, he was an RTI activist who exposed large-scale illegal mining in the area where the Asiatic lion is situated in the Gir area, and he filed a petition in the High Court of Gujarat. 10 days after filing the petition, he was killed in front of Gujarat High Court. He wrote since 2008 to Shri Narendra Modi for providing him security, which was successively denied. The Gujarat police gave a clean chit to both the member of parliament of BJP as also to his nephews. Gujarat High Court intervened and passed strictures against Gujarat government. That is when the case was referred to CBI, and CBI has now arrested him. Instead of throwing such a person out of his party, who is accused of being a murderer of an RTI activist who also filed a case for appointment of Lok Ayukt in Gujarat, Mr. Vyas seems to be defending him. That is the problem with our polity per se, and I suppose this is the problem that Shri Rahul Gandhi, with all the criticism that we have faced from the media, set to undo when he rejected and made his government and party change stance on an ordinance that was protecting convicted leaders, netas, and he said, there is no time to correct yourself. It is not about opportunism, it is about opportunity to cleanse
we know what
the
he
system.
said,
And
but I am going to
him.
ask you about political double standards on this across party lines, because it's not like the system is getting cleaned up very soon. But Mr. Vyas, you wanted to respond to that, because Mr. Vyas, when you say that the BJP is not going to support anybody with a criminal background, I mean, what about Vittal Radadia? No, what about Vittal Radadia? What about him? I mean, is every case going to be a political conspiracy?
Why sharp focus on nobody? I in the very beginning said that if somebody is guilty, he should be brought to books. Let the law take its own course. Nobody defends them. And let me tell Mr. Surjewala very politely that there was a time when Mr. Rajiv Gandhi was also framed in a charge sheet for Bofors. Now, are you going to tell that Rajiv Gandhi was guilty of Bofors?
I find that completely absurd. Sir, what about Babu Bhai Bokadia, who is like convicted?
And don't try to make Rahul Gandhi larger than the life size. We never supported that ordinance. First you created a drama of claiming the ordinance, and then your vice president all of a sudden from nowhere appears out
Well, we're not here to talk about the ordinance. We're here to talk about the fact.
The credit and credibility of Prime Minister in office.
But we're here to talk about the fact that it will be much harder. It will be much harder to clean up the system than we think. And I want to bring in the ADR in on this, because Mr. Mittal, what do your statistics tell you, for instance, which we had a glimpse of that in our story, about the first phase of in Chhattisgarh and the list of candidates there? There are criminal elements again who have got, or people with serious criminal charges who have got tickets, and again that cuts across party lines. Tell us what your statistics say.
See, in the news clipping which you have just shown, obviously the statistics has been given. There are 143 candidates in the first phase, and out of those 143 candidates, 15 candidates have criminal cases. Out of them there are 6 candidates who have serious criminal cases. Now again I wanted to reiterate one important point, that this information which we are sharing, this is purely based on the affidavits which have been filed by these particular candidates. So let me first of all clear this particular point, that this is a subjective data. This is not subjective. This is entirely based on the data which they have given. Second thing, I want to stress that in each party there are good candidates, but they don't get an opportunity to come forward. There are some reasons behind why these criminal elements are repeatedly coming. If we have seen in 2008 and if we are seeing currently, because there is a criminal and a money power nexus. Something very important I want to stress upon. These criminal elements, why they are fielded? Because there are corporate donations, corporate backings which are there behind behind these particular, and this is something based on the analysis I am speaking. Once they come into power, these particular corporates want to use them to get participation, maybe in the public sector, private projects. One is the corporate donations part, which I am saying why these criminal elements are coming, since we are having the discussion around that. Second thing is the judicial process. There is such a long delay process, like the kind of technology which is there, it's completely a bullet card technology. The parties very clearly knows that once a criminal case is filed, it will take 3 terms, 4 terms, like if you've seen the historical past, in a couple of cases, 15 years, 20 years. So by that time, you are able to cross 3 terms.
But tell us the breakup.
Let me just finish up. Yeah, just important. So one is the judicial reforms, which is not there, which is very much needed. Why these criminal elements are coming? Because they know that the winnability factor is through these particular, like these tainted candidates. The police reforms. Why these FIRs are registered? These FIRs are registered because they know the charge sheet, there will be delays in the charge sheet, the files will disappear. And the last point for this criminalization, which I want to stress upon, this is a caste-based politics. Okay, these are the kind of freebies which we will be giving, these are the kind of irregular colonies which will be regularized. So the clean candidates which are there in each party, I want to stress that they are not able to come forward, and these criminal elements repeatedly are coming forward.
But again, I asked you for the breakup is important.
Breakup I have given you.
For example, in Chhattisgarh, there are 3 candidates the BJP has fielded, Mr. Vyas, who have serious accusations against them, serious charges against them. The Congress, Randeep Surjewala, has fielded 2 such candidates. Am I right? That's what your data says. The BSP2 and the SP2. So Randeep Surjewala, the SP1. Okay, yeah. So the BSP2. So the Congress has also fielded 2 candidates, Randeep Surjewala in Chhattisgarh, in the first phase, who are facing serious criminal charges. So nobody is above board in this, are they?
The short point I want to make is, cleansing of the political system from criminals is per se should be a matter of faith for all political parties, irrespective of political color. Congress is the only political party which in this election, pursuant to Shri Rahul Gandhi's intervention, has started a process where we make everybody applying for party ticket fill in a form declaring the case against him, the nature of the case, status of the case, all that are examined at the highest level, and it's only when prima facie party comes to a conclusion that yes, the case appears to be either politically motivated or is relatable to such reason that a person is considered for the ticket. I think it's time for other political parties to emulate what Shri Rahul Gandhi has done.
Randeep Surjewala, you're making the same argument that everybody makes every time one of their own is accused of these serious allegations. I mean, if Mr. Rahul Gandhi is so serious about cleaning up the system in the Congress from the top, why should you have even one person facing a serious criminal charge be given a ticket? You have 2 already in the first phase in Chhattisgarh. So what cleanup are you talking about? I mean, you're saying political conspiracy, therefore Jairam Vyas is also saying the same. How is it different?
No, I did not say that. I said, Nidhi, that for the first time, Congress is the only political party which is making every ticket aspirant fill up a form. And all the antecedents of all candidates are examined. Does the BJP do it? Do the other parties do it? I have my doubts on that. Number 2, the process for cleansing politics from criminals per se was started the day when we rejected the ordinance to protect convicted netas. And I think the debate and dialogue, both through media, your channel has picked it up very well, you've done a number of programs, print media has done so, and now in public life is extremely strong. So a whole new debate has been started in public domain where people will reject those who are really have criminal antecedents. And I think the foundation for that was laid with the rejection of the ordinance to protect convicted netas by Shri Rahul Gandhi.
Harish Bijur, come in here. My point is then why field people who are facing these accusations? I'll come to you, Mr. Vyas. 1 second. Mr. Bijur, why then field anybody who faces this charge? And or is it that the winnability factor is so important that you don't have a choice? Parties are not going to be able to disengage themselves from these elements for a long time.
Absolutely. Nidhi, that is the key point really, because you know a candidate with a criminal background is actually being put up because of the winnability format, and most parties will tell you that you know if a candidate wins and is with a criminal record, we may not give him a ministerial possession, a big fat help. That does. The key issue is the hygiene standard within Indian politics is in question. But one good thing I notice is possibly about 10 years ago you would have about 63 candidates with criminal backgrounds actually being fielded. Possibly today there could be 12. So, at least the trend is right. At least, there is awareness, and at least there's one national political party which has come out and said that I don't want any criminal facing an election.
But Mr. Vyas, you wanted to come in with, I'm sure, a counterpunch to what Mr. Surjewala said, because, everyone's talking the same language, conspiracy.
I was just trying to...
Yeah.
I was just trying to sympathize. I was just trying to sympathize with Mr. Surjewala. He is trying to defend undefendable. Even if I submit to his hypothesis that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is now clear about cleansing up everything in Congress, I think the first test of the pudding which is in eating in Chhattisgarh he has failed. Where is the cleaning broom of Rahul Gandhi? Why it has not
worked? So have you.
So
have you. There are three BJP. No, one second. Mr. Vyas, there are three BJP candidates with serious charges against them being fielded in Chhattisgarh. One second. There are three BJP candidates. The Congress has two. You have three.
No, I don't deny that. But I am not trying to philosophize. I am not trying to philosophize that issue. I am simply trying to say that it is a fact that somewhere at some point winnability takes over other criteria even as of now.
So
and
you
we
admit
will have
that?
to even see that this is diminished and clearly, clean candidates are fielded.
No, so do you admit that people with questionable backgrounds and serious criminal charges are fielded as they have even by the BJP in Chhattisgarh? It's because it's practical, because that's the way to win an election. Are you at least being honest about that? Because that would be very appreciated if someone actually says that.
Nidhi, with the kind of data, Nidhi, the kind of data that we are discussing, one should not be at least intellectually dishonest to see where the problem is. Yes, there is a problem. The good side of it is that the cleansing has started. Some effect you are able to see. Lot more needs to be done. Let's admit the first thing that you will solve the problem is admitting that there is some problem. Yes, there is a problem,
great.
and all of us have to address that issue, to that issue.
Randeep Surjewala, at least Mr. Vyas admits there's a problem and is owning up to the fact that yes, we may have fielded people with questionable backgrounds in these elections, but we have a long way to go to solving a problem. You're not even saying that. You just keep praising Rahul Gandhi for tearing up the ordinance.
Nidhi, I'll tell why Mr. Vyas has to say that. Because they have in their cabinet Shri Babu Bhai Bokadia, who's been convicted by the High Court of Gujarat in a 100 crore scam. He has in his cabinet, see, he will not hear. He has in his cabinet, Shri Narendra Modi's cabinet, Shri Purushottam Solanki. He has, Shri Narendra Modi has in his cabinet as irrigation minister, Shri Purushottam Solanki, against whom strictures have been passed
Mr. Surjewala, you have in union cabinet people with this
by
kind
the
of
High Court of Gujarat.
What are you talking?
He will not, Shri Narendra Modi and Shri Vyas will not answer because they have Shrimati Mayaben Kodnani, who was a social justice minister and who was convicted by the court in the Naroda Pathia case. So they have Babulal Bokadia, they have Mayaben Kodnani, and they have Purushottam Solanki. They also have Amit Shah. So that is why
he will name 5 people.
You also had Rajiv Gandhi.
Opportunism.
Add to that name Rajiv Gandhi because he was named in a Bofor's charge sheet. Add to that name Rajiv Gandhi. I am willing to agree on all your terms.
And sir, you also forget that none less than Shri Lalkrishan Advani is still accused in the Babri Masjid demolition.
Well,
and you have cabinet ministers.
Oh my God! That way, if you go to the roots, none of your Congress MPs will come out clean. What are you talking? How many MPs you have with this kind of background?
Can you? Shri Vyas, humbly may I ask you to answer for any of the 3 ministers who are convicted and continue in Shri Narendra Modi
Who is an...
Can you answer why do your 3 ministers convicted continue in your cabinet? Why is Babulal Bokadia minister in Narendra Modi's cabinet? Why is Purushottam Lal Solanki your minister? Despite High Court verdict against him.
Okay, gentlemen, 1 second. 1 second.
If the law had its way, You have half a dozen ministers in the jail.
The difficulty is your opportunism is out in the open, and Digu Bhai Solanki, your Gujarat MP, is one more instance who murders an RTI activist,
Okay, gentlemen, one second. Mr. Bijur, I'll get you and Mr. Mittal into this. Mr. Bijur, my question is that does it worry you that despite the Supreme Court's orders on this particular issue, which have been landmark, that the change is going to be very difficult to come by?
Nidhi, this worries me and every other Indian if you really look at it, because obviously there are strictures, there are notations, but nobody is taking attention of it, because practical politics is overshadowing everything else. And what is practical politics? Practical politics is this winnability number. Now the debate which we witnessed just now on this channel, you will see that this is happily or unhappily a common trait across parties. There's not a single party except for possibly a new party here and there which doesn't have this issue of fielding a criminal candidate. Because a criminal candidate has money, brings money, is able to mobilize folk on the ground, is able to mobilize opinion towards himself and his party. So at the end of the day, practical politics wins it all.
And therefore, then, where does the change come from, Mr. Mittal? Despite a Supreme Court order, despite the public debate that this country has seen, then these elections aren't going to be the game changers, are they?
See, first of all, it's a very good beginning which is there. Now here there is a lot of responsibility on the voter also. There was a lot of voter percentage who used to say that we just don't want to vote because we don't approve of any of the candidates. Now this right has been given to them, which is basically a positive startup. They should come forward and they should be able to give that expression. Now even for the political party, it's going to be a first time sort of a thing. So once a message comes from the voter community that, see, we are not able to give a clear mandate to anyone, then obviously a reawakening happens in them. Second thing, again, which I started when the conversation was there, during the panel discussion, both the parties are saying that there are certain cases which are like filed just prior to the elections, or they are motivated cases. Why they don't push for the police and the judicial reforms? There has to be a deterrent in law which is not there. That's the reason these kind of elements are able to come into the politics. If tomorrow a deterrent is there, the field is pretty much open. Like in the case of Rahul Gandhi, it was said maybe he took the credit or like the other person took the credit. Why can't these people put for fast tracking of the cases, that there has to be a deterrent, that if I lodge a case, if you look at US or other economies, there are strong deterrents that in case you lodge a false case, it has to be action straight away against you. But today they know it has, the lower court says something, the appellate court says something. There is no consistency between the orders. So there is a lot of transparency which has to be required. Audio video recordings, there was some discussion which started in, like abroad you see there are legal channels where 24/7 public interest matters are telecast. Today, like on account of the electronic media, a lot of awareness is getting created, like maybe through the civil society also. So for these kind of reforms, they have to put for it so that good candidates are also able to come forward from their particular political parties. This is something very strongly I really feel, and this is based on the data which we have seen like historically. Today the deterrent is not there. The only winnability factor is, okay, I support this candidate, I back him up, maybe through a political donation, he will come into power, and then maybe I will be able to take some gratification, maybe through public-private projects. But that deterrent has to be coming from the law, which is currently not there. Three terms candidates are able to pass through.
And what will be interesting to see in the next few days is the data that the ADR is going to compile on the other states. Once we know, once the nomination process is over and affidavits are filed, they're going to be studying each and every state to see how many criminal elements there actually are, what the assets are of different candidates who filed their nominations. So we will come back to you and see whether there's been a decline overall in the number of parties and the number of criminal candidates that they do end up fielding. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on this debate tonight. That's it on the show this evening. We'll see you all again tomorrow.